Welcome back now. Gauteng's Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile plans to reposition the province as a prime destination for investment. The MEC, in collaboration with the GIC, hosted a business breakfast in preparation for the inaugural Gauteng Investment Conference. I caught up with the MEC and started off by asking him to lay down the vision for the province. Here's that conversation.
As you know, Gauteng is a big economy, not just in the country but in the continent, and you have the numbers. Unfortunately, we are carrying a huge burden of urbanization because people come to the province every year looking for different opportunities. About 230,000 people every year. In 1994, Gauteng had about 7 million plus people. As we speak now, it's just over 15 billion, if not 16 billion. So you can see how rapid the population grows, and unfortunately the population is growing faster than the economy, and that creates and compounds the problems that we're facing, problems of unemployment, of poverty, inequality, and the other social issues like crime. So we are firstly having an appreciation of the situation that we find ourselves in and the magnitude of the problem that we are facing. And that's why we want to work systematically and in a disciplined but at the same time quick and decisive and impactful. And so the Premier will be speaking on the 24th of February in the state of the province. He will start saying what are some of the things we want to do broadly in different areas. And then in the investment conference, he will then speak and be specific on the economy plan of the Gauteng provincial government and what we're going to do. But we already have a sense, because we're not just working for its own sake, that we definitely have to invest in infrastructure. Yes. And that involves rail, roads, water, electricity, sewer, and all bulk related. We already know that we have to focus on manufacturing and look at the different subsectors. One of the subsectors that is important is the construction and mining capital equipment manufacturing industry, which is big in the province. And we think that will also help us to lay a basis and solidify our program towards beneficiation, amongst others. We already know that we have to focus on trade and investment, and that's why the investment conference. So this does not happen in a vacuum. It's part of a broader plan that we're having. But we already know as well that we have to focus on township economy, because that economy is big. It's worth about 200 billion. But unfortunately, that economy, it's not producing. And as you know, you can't talk about economy and not talk about production. Yes. So there has to be production, there has to be consumption and circulation of money. In the township, it's only the consumption and circulation of money, but there's no production. So I can go on and on about what we seek to do. We are clear. What the Premier will be saying is just to put it in a comprehensive and to demonstrate that our plans are not different from the national plans. Our plans are tied with that, with those, are inspired by the national plans, but they focus on the unique circumstances of our province.
Well, thank you so much for laying the table on what practically needs to be done to achieve what you want to achieve. But I mean, we do know that investment is really the bedrock of any economic growth. just on that, you said something very interesting during your presentation, that we don't have a money problem, but we struggle with obstacles. Just contextualize that for us in terms of then how this investment will be able to come in and be put to work.
Yeah, firstly, we have had the President's Investment Conference, I think, for the last 2 or 3 years. And there's been pledges made at that investment conference. About 49% of those last year were in Gauteng.
Okay.
I just want to give you one example of a pledge and potential investment in the Heidelberg area that will create 500 jobs, which is a chemical manufacturing company, 2 billion rand worth of investment. But for that investment to be unlocked, there's a need for bulk infrastructure, which needs about 200 million. As Gauteng government, we don't have that money, but we said we must find the money, because once you are able to unlock, it's 2 billion, it's 500 people who are going to work in Heidelberg. Heidelberg is in Sidibeng. Sidibeng is one of the regions that are on the periphery of the economy. And as a result, people are forced to come to the center. And we think that if we make more investments in Sidibeng, in West Rand, people will be able to participate in economic activities and remain there. But it will also have a direct impact on the sustainability of those municipalities, because they will be able to get a revenue.
Yeah.
So that is just but one practical example. So in essence, what we are saying is that we want to be agile, we want to be hands-on, we want to be decisive, we want to be systematic, and we want to dirty our hands. We are rolling up our sleeves. So if an investor, I've met few investors already who are saying, we've got the money, we don't need your money as government.
Yes.
Firstly, we want projects, give us projects. And I say it's fine, but there has to be government processes, because you can't also overcommit government, because that will be reckless in the name of investment and all that.
Well, I mean, actually, how much effort is being put to make sure that those government processes are done with urgency? Who are you working with in that effort?
The efforts and the fruits. In fact, there's efforts and there's fruits that you can see. There's results. The president spoke about them. One of those is look at the visa.
Yes, visa
reform and all that. Gauteng accounts for 50%, minimum 50% of tourists who come. So it means if more tourists come to the province, to the country, more of them will be in the province. And our challenge is to make sure that they stay for an extra night or two. Imagine what that can do. Look at the energy. There's progress done and all that. We've got the environmental impact assessments, which used to take 365 days in Gauteng. It takes about 3 months now. Okay. So we can go on and on, but we're not saying there are no challenges. We're not saying everything is perfect. We're saying working with the private sector, they must also help us to point out where some of the challenges are and how they think we can deal with those.
That was Gauteng's Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile.